And good afternoon from O'Fallon High School in O'Fallon, Illinois. It's the O'Fallon Tournament, and it's Quincy High Blue Devil girls basketball on the road. And welcome, I'm Jeff Wellman as we get ready for a fun day here of two games. They'll start off with the defending state champions. Of course, the Devils come in 2-0. The defending state champions come in 1-0, and this should be a great matchup today to really see where the Devils are after the first two ball games. It should be a lot of fun this year, and of course joining me this year, as always, is Mecca President Dave Pettit, or Coach Pettit, as we'll say.
Well, let's leave it at Coach Pettit. We don't have to go president or nothing like this. This is what I love, and this is what I want to do. So it's great being down here. Went down and looked at the state championship trophy. That's what the
51-43. Coach, that's actually
Belleville West and Decatur MacArthur and the 3:30 game. Well, obviously the 3:30 game will probably be pushed back a little bit because of the length of game number one. But the Lady Blue Devils will play Belleville West at 3:30.
All right, so we look at today's game. Of course, the Devils start off with two victories at Jacksonville, 75-18. Very good defensive matchup there in the first game, and they got a lot of shots off as well. Pleasant Plains at home on the 15th, 59-31. A little bit better test there because Pleasant Plains, strong inside, had a good defender inside Miss Weber. And now you get on the road, and, of course, your next test, the defending state champions, 34-4, I believe, from last year. Of course, they went through and beat Alton, who beat us in the first round. Actually, the championship of this regional.
The championship of the regional.
And then in the first round of the sectional, you got two of the best teams in state. And Alton only lost two ball games all last year. Both of them to who? The Panthers of O'Fallon.
O'Fallon, yep. And to be honest with you, you look at O'Fallon and, 34-4 last year, defending state champions. They've got three starters back, and we'll talk a little bit more about them, down the road here. But, like I say, I think, with their coaching, I think they're going to be a formidable, opponent. And this is a good early season test for the Lady Blue Devils.
Indeed. And, of course, we talked to Coach Dance ahead of time. And we also remind people here as we come out, if you want to be an advertiser or a sponsor of Mecca Sports Co. Broadcasting, you can get a hold of us on the website directly with the email address, meccasportsco@gmail.com. We also have a phone number there as well. And later on, I might actually give you my email address as well in case you do have an interest in that. And QHS Auto Group is one of our big sponsors this year, and we have some surprises along the way there. We'll be talking about them throughout the broadcast, and it'll be a lot of fun. We've got a great relationship with QHS, and that should be a lot of fun. Hey, let's go over here and let's hear what Brad Dance had to say in the pregame, sponsored the comments by QHS Auto Group. And welcome back. With me right now, the Quincy High Blue Devil girls coach, Brad Dance. Coach, we're down here for our second road trip, but we're in a tournament with O'Fallon. How was the road trip and how are you getting ready for today?
Oh, it was fine. The girls, we've got a lot of returners, so they know road trips for us is, 2.5, 3 hours every week. So they're used to it, but it was fine. We got off early, got here. I want to get a chance to see Belleville West, so that's who we play. And then the girls got to shoot a little bit, and now we'll get ready to go.
So we start off with a nice win on the road against Jacksonville. Pleasant Plains was a step up, but a good win at home. Now we step to the defending state champions from last year, who graduated a couple of key players, but reloaded. So this is probably the best test we're going to have.
Yeah, this will be a good test for us right out of the gate, and that's why we do it, because I want to get these games in to get us ready for the Western Big Six. Playing a couple games that you can win convincingly, makes everybody feel good, but you also got to get better as the year goes on, and that's why we do this, and it'll be a good test for us. We saw them play the other night against Belleville Althoff, who we will play next Saturday, and it's a game that we can compete in, and I feel if we don't panic and handle the basketball, we have a good shot today.
Belleville Althoff, we'll be seeing them almost as much as we'll see the Devils and Raiders, because we've got them next weekend on Friday and Saturday, both days as well. So sickness early in the season, health, injuries we don't expect, but how's everybody doing physically?
Bree missed the last couple of days. She was out sick, so she wasn't around for practice yesterday. Jada's going to start in the post, and so we'll go Jada and Taylor both post, and then we'll have the normal three guards, Miley, Leah, and Layla will go in the backcourt, and it'll change a little bit as far as our height, and we'll probably interchange more posts for posts and guards for guards today, and just see how that works. We're still kind of mixing some people around to see how it works.
It does match us up with a little more height inside when you put Brown in there with Foey.
It does, and then it gives us a little bit more scoring presence inside as well. And then those two play well together, and then we have our outside people that play pretty well. So
we talked about O'Fallon, but also Alton. Seeing them early is good because those are the people we're going to go through in the postseason, and we've got to go through them.
Yeah, and that's why we got to play these games, because this gives us a chance to measure against them, but then it also gives these schools a chance to see us when it comes seeding time. So we've got to, these are important games for us today, even though it's early in the year, and we've got to come make respectable showings. We've got to compete, and I'm wanting to come out with 2 wins today.
Nice thing is, that's just it. You mentioned 2 wins. We got 2 games. So after the first one, no time to worry about how it came, win or loss. You got to turn around to a Belleville West team who you might look and say they're not very good, but they got a new coach and a lot of energy.
Yeah, they do, and they're very athletic, and it's just different. It's a little bit different brand than what we normally play or what we see in the Western Big Six. It's physical like we see, so it'll be a good test for us. And win or lose, we'll bounce back, get a little food in between games, and be ready to go for the next game.
Sounds like a winner. Good luck, and we'll see you after the game.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That was Brad Danson. Of course, our coaches' comments are brought to you by QHS Auto Group. They'll be with us all season long, and we appreciate QHS, and we'll talk more about them throughout the broadcast. And up next, Coach Pettit and I will talk about this ball game, Quincy High and O'Fallon Panthers, right here on Mecca Sports Co. Broadcasting. And we thank Coach Dance for his time in the pregame there and give us a little scoop on what he expects today. And Coach, this is the key here. We're going to have 2 games today, so no matter what you do in the first ball game, you bounce back and you get a chance to come. So if you end up putting up an L, you come back, try to go 1-1. If you win the first ball game, then you're really happy because you're looking at a sweep today.
Well, when you look at the 2 opponents that they have set up for today with O'Fallon, defending state champions with 3 starters back. 2 of them were freshmen that started on the state championship team last year. And then they got the big girl, Demasia Boyd, I believe, is her name, and she's like 6'3", long, active, block shots. This is going to be a tough test for the Blue Devils, and then after this, then they come back and, have to play a Belleville West team that, we saw them earlier today play the prelim, and they played Decatur MacArthur very tough. So that's going to be a tough game coming back, and once again, Belleville West is going to get that extra hour and a half of rest, to get ready. This is like the old school when they used to have to play 2 games, on championship day, for 4A basketball or 2A basketball back in the old day.
And we talk about that O'Fallon Panther team from last year that won state, graduating their top scorer, Shannon Dowell. She averaged 21.3 points a game. In the 2 games at state, she had 30 and 25, so she overexcelled even there. And then we had Jelia Pelly, actually, and she was averaging 9.1 last year. She had 16 in both contests up at Bloomington. And then you turn around, as you mentioned, Demasia Bolds, 8.3 last year, had a good state tournament, averaging 10 points a game. Josie Christopher, the sophomore, averaging just under 5 points a game.
Well, she's a sophomore now.
Right.
And she was a freshman back then. So, these gals, they're young, but they have a ton of experience.
Well, and then you look at Haley Tart. Her sister graduated.
Yep.
She's now a sophomore, and she was averaging 4.3 points a game. So they reload, and again, we haven't even heard about any other players that they brought in, so it'll be interesting to see where we're at on that. And by the way, you did mention Western Michigan had a signing already, as we say hi to Bradley Loncourt the first, as he's out there. He came up to watch. Of course, he's got both his grandson and granddaughter playing, as they'll have, of course, BL3 playing for the Devils, and we got Miley here playing for the Devils as well, so should be a lot of fun.
Is that?
As we're talking,
we're getting a medical report here.
I love it there. Thank you there, Brad. All right, so you got O'Fallon over there. She just signed at Western Michigan. This week, and that's the big girl. And then also signing this last week, and it was after the Pleasant Plains we found this out, Taylor Foey signed with McKendree, so she will be playing. And I think she'll
be down here in the area.
Exactly. She looked forward to it. Actually, listened to Her dad, Dax Foley, talk about it the other night in the parking lot, explaining, the coach really liked the program and giving her an opportunity to play down there. So that's great for the Devils. And it's nice to get a signing early, get it out of the way so you can worry about the season. So many times, if you're not getting it done ahead of time, a lot of times you don't get it done ahead of time and you have a so-so season, you might fall down the list.
Well, you always have that distraction, during your senior season. If you can get it out of the way early and pick the right program with the coaches and, the offense they run, the defense they run, and make sure it's a good fit. If you can get that done early, that takes a lot of pressure off on your senior year, and you can go out there and just have fun and play basketball.
And for those people out there watching, this is our first broadcast out on the year, and so if you're out and about, if you know our email address, you have our phone numbers or something, you want to holler and say, hey, we're picking this up, we're not picking that up. Again, a lot of times in these gymnasiums, the video broadcasting and getting out of some of these gymnasiums is a little bit harder, so we hope we don't get dropped. And there'll be times where we're only audio. Obviously, in the Blue Devil Gymnasium, we can only go audio with the National Federation of High School Sports camera. We're working on the lady side on the gymnasium at Quincy High. And then, of course, at the pit, even though they're running with the Raider Network, we will be there and running our video down from the old booths on the corners, the west end, the way it was when I played and those guys before us played. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Hey, looking at the rest of the Western Big Six as we've got an early non-conference action. Again, last year, Galesburg and Geneseo, actually Geneseo and Galesburg were 1 and 2. Devils were 3. Right behind them were Alleman. Early this season, Galesburg is 1-0. They beat Metamora 66-51. Geneseo is 2-1. They just lost on the 16th to Anawan, 47-39 after beating Sterling Newman and Rock Falls. Alleman still 2-0. East Moline, we're not sure how they did last night against Wheaton, but they were 1-0. Rocky don't start until today with their first games. Moline had a nice 2 victories against Marengo and Canelan, and Sterling starts on the 21st. So already getting their early wins in non-conference action. And we're going to have the national anthem. We are going to keep it right here, as we will all day long, for the national anthem. Yeah, it was our national anthem there as we start stuff off. Excuse me, I kept that up for the national anthem. All right, as we get ready, the Blue Devils, of course, on the road. They will be in their road blue, trimmed in white. A little black in there as well. On the other side for O'Fallon, I believe they are blue and gold, are they not? Although they're wearing their white uniforms, I believe on the media guide it is blue and gold. It's all around their numbers, and that's about the only spot it is.
Yep.
Of course, Coach Dance mentioned that we did have Bree Lannard going to sit because she hadn't been feeling well or been and so she will be back. Coach, here's something there. It's new, and you're joining us here. This year, the new rule, 5 free throws each quarter generates the double bonus. Okay. Starting after the first quarter,
so if it's first quarter and we have somebody driving to the next play down, we drive to the basket and get fouled again, 2 more free throws, and then a little hack foul, and we get another one or whatever. Then we're shooting 1 and 1 the rest of the quarter.
On the 5th foul.
On the 5th foul or the 5th free throw?
On the 5th foul.
On
the 5th foul, so instead of 7.5 and you shoot your bonus,
yeah,
it'll be the 5th foul And then second quarter, 0-0 again, 5 more. Now, I think it's going to be an interesting change. The one key, I think, is going to be in the fourth quarter. I thought that we might have more free throws each quarter, but if you don't foul early in the game, but late in the ball game, if you're fouling, then we're definitely going to be all night long on that one. So it'll be interesting to watch that. It's a new National Federation rule, and so we saw it this week with the Devils at Jacksonville and at Pleasant Plains. Didn't really come into effect in those games.
Well, my question is, are we going to do the 35-second clock here because it's a shootout? Doesn't look like it.
I didn't know if we had. Did we add the shot clock this year?
Well, we have opportunities at times at some tournaments. Like we may see it at State Farm. We may see it at Collinsville. You know, the 35-second clock, and that's going to speed everything up. It's a lot different playing with the shot clock than without the shot clock.
Well, we watched it last year in the last game of the season for the QND Raiders at Keokuk. They did it before the postseason. At the pit, they already had the shot clock in, so it wasn't a biggie there. So they're ready there. As we're getting started on lineups and doing a double check of everybody on each side here. And here's the way it looks like we're going for the Devils. We will start off with Leah Chevalier. And Leah, by the way, was the Quincy Service Group Student of the Month in November. So congratulations to her. Miley Loncourt, she wears number 14. And then we got Jada Brown taking the start today for Leonard. She wears number 21. Leela Dade, she is wearing number 22. And Taylor Foley in the middle, leading the team right now in scoring. She is number 42. And, of course, the Devils are coached by Mr. Brad Dance, assisted by, well, Bergman's over there, Wellman's not there, and Klopper is there as well. We'll give you the starting lineup here on the other side as the first tip goes up, and it's to O'Fallon. They'll work right to left on our screen. Devils will come back, setting up in a, looking like man-to-man. Leo Chevalier will pick up at the point. The lineup for the Panthers, as we have a steal there, Josie Christopher, Demaya Bolds, Kenna Behringer, Haley Taft, and Tart, and Carolyn Foster. And we'll check out the heights on those. We mentioned the big girl, obviously. Ball knocked out of bounds. Devils will have it under their basket.
Good quick hands by Miley Loncourt to, deflect the pass and start going the other way, but they just didn't have good control.
Tried to get the ball in over Demaya Bolds. That ain't going to happen. She stole the ball. Here goes the Panthers the other way. And the first score of the game goes to Haley Tart for the Panthers. Panthers will come out right away in full court pressure, running a 1-2-2. We're very familiar with that.
Ball press, three-quarter court. Oh.
Ball tipped out of bounds by the Panthers. Devils will have it. And again, you're not going to be able to throw the ball over Bolts. And it was a nice little pass from the baseline, trying to get it out to the wing. And she can clear it. She's got good wingspan at 6'2". Chevalier works to the right side to Dade. Dade brings it into the high post. Foley, one step down. Foley's first shot, no good. Bolts up and over Brown for the rebound.
But I was always taught that the shot blockers, you take it into the shot blocker, get body and then shot fake, get them up and get them in foul trouble and get them, sitting on the bench where they're best for us.
Yeah, exactly. Ball in the left corner there. That's Christopher. Skips over to the right side. Around shot, no good. Tipped around. Ball was on the floor. 3 Devils were there, but stepping in between was Foster. And O'Fallon has the basketball again. Left corner, shot from 3, no.
Yeah.
But Coach Dance is not complaining, so I think he realized, hey, when you get that initial tip, you can't sit around and dribble. You've got to get it moved down the court.
Push the ball, especially against the three-quarter court ball press.
Foster in the high post. Oh, to a cutting. She missed 2 shots. Ball was tipped around inside. Dade will come away with it for the Devils. In the backcourt over to Chevalier. She's on the right side. Quickly into the middle of the court. Taylor didn't come to the ball. It's tipped away. Oh, and in for a layup. Oh, it looked like a travel by Christopher. It wasn't 1.5, but it just looked strange since she didn't put the ball on the floor. Ball tipped out of bounds. Back to the Devils. 5:34 left first quarter. We're here in O'Fallon, Illinois. O'Fallon High School, the tournament for the day.
Both teams playing a little sloppy here to start for the first minute and a half.
And a key for that is a jump ball. Taylor Foley came across the timeline. Foster right there. Foster's been all over the court. The jump ball will go back to the Devils. And, Coach, that's what happens. Your offense can look sluggish if the defense is playing good, and that's what we've got on both sides. Devils with the ball in the half court.